Welcome to OM James. I am, as always, OM James, and today should be Talkin' Tuesday, but instead of being Talkin' Tuesday, we're going to be a Talkin' Wednesday. I did a video a little bit one day late today, and I'm a big Social Blade fan, and my Social Blade thing is going to be listed as, I don't need headphones, I'm not listening to anything, but the Social Blade stats are going to probably show me going down. I used to have a C+ grade, and now I think I'm down to like a D or D-. But either way, I'm going to try to post every single Tuesday and Thursday. I'm sorry this week it's going to be Wednesday, but I'm still going to do an episode, and I got a fun one. I got a real fun one, you guys. Here was my idea. Originally, I was going to do, like, I'm going to get my phone out of my pocket. I was going to do the top Mario games, my favorite Mario games ranked. And instead, I decided to talk about my favorite Mario in Mario games. Get a little meta, you know. Not just be talking about... Ooh, get a little more comfortable here. Not just talking about the Mario games themselves, but then the Mario inside those games, and why I do and do not like the Mario as he's represented. Now, it could be that I don't like how... Again, Mario's represented, how Mario is presented in that game, or it might be the way you control Mario, it might be how Mario takes on a new adventure, whatever it might be. That's where we're ranking today. So instead of just dragging on, we're already almost a minute and a half into the video. Let's go ahead and start with number 10. Number 10, Mario in Super Smash Bros. That's right. I'm starting with Mario in the Super Smash Bros. Series. This is number 10 right here, and this is Mario in his least Mario fashion. That's the way I feel about it. It's all the flair and none of the content. Like, I get it. It's Mario. He has all the great, awesome Mario moves, and he might even be the prettiest he's ever been in his rawest form, but he's still a really basic Mario when it comes to Mario. He has all the moves, he looks great, he acts great, he's still courageous and brave Mario, but in the end, at the end of the day, he's just a fighter, a random fighter who has all of Mario's moves, in my opinion. And I've played a lot of Smash Brothers. But anyway, let's move on. Number 9, Super Mario Brothers. The original. That's right. Now, establishing a line of games that inspired this list to begin with is Super Mario Brothers, the original. And now, I would say this Mario is the most two-dimensional Mario of any Marios, however there have ever been Marios. And I'm not even talking about the graphics. I don't mean that this Mario is the most two-dimensional graphically two-dimensional. That's what I meant to say, Mario. But more so, this is the Mario that has the least amount of content, the least amount of story, the least amount of Mario-ness to present to the player. That instead of being some kind of character who has something to share, and you could argue that Nintendo didn't have a lot of capacity to share characters that deep, but I know it did. And I also know that this is the first game in this whole series of again, what established even what the reason why we're having this list in the first place. And Shigeru Miyamoto, no bashing on him at all, not at all, but in the end, this Mario moves to the right, and he goes castle by castle by castle until he runs out of castles and ends up with one princess. And I don't think that's that interesting of a Mario. Great game, love that game, play it till the day I die. Not that into that Mario. Next, number 8, Super Mario Galaxy. Now, if we're talking about game mechanics, we got to talk about Super Mario Galaxy, because this game... First off, Mario was two-dimensional. He went left and right? And then after that, he went from left and right to more vertical and left and right. And I'm actually not even left and right originally. Originally, it was just right. And then Super Mario Bros. 2, it was left and right and up and down. Super Mario 3, about the same dimensions, right? And then came Super Mario World, same dimensions. And then came other Mario games, that weird one with Yoshi and the crying baby Mario. I don't like that one so much. Yoshi's Island, I don't know what the hell it's called. I don't like it. We're not talking about that one. We're talking about Super Mario 64 when he took on a whole different dimension in 3D, right? And that was awesome. That was great. And they were like, how could you possibly make this three-dimensional Mario any better? And you know what they did is they made it so where you could walk on a planet and it further, by far, to the extent as it could possibly go without being virtual. Blurry, looking blurry. Let's stop being blurry in a second. There we go. Okay, so... you couldn't imagine 3D getting any more interesting unless you went virtual, but with Super Mario Galaxy, they did exactly that. They took the 3D and they turned it into a whole different medium that blew it out of the sky, like literally. I remember Super Mario Galaxy when it first came out, and I was like, oh my gosh, how come no one else has thought of this yet? I was very excited about it. Alright, so next, number 7, Super Mario Sunshine. Now, what makes Super Mario Sunshine really special, in my opinion, is kind of like when... and even in other games, like Mario when he does like Super Mario Golf and Super Mario Tennis and all those other ones too like that, but it shows the versatility. Like, If you look at a great early example is Doki Doki Panic, which everybody at this point knows. Like, not Doki Doki Panic, but Super Mario Bros. 2. Look at that. I gave away the answer before I even asked the question. That Super Mario Bros. 2 was based on an engine of a game called Doki Doki Panic. Like, it was Doki Doki Panic with a few elements changed and some very slight gameplay elements changed. But ultimately, it was the exact same game as Doki Doki Panic, a Japanese-only game that is just like Super Mario Bros. 2 for the most part. And so he took something that wasn't his, and something that it wasn't a game that was even meant for him, and it was like a ninja running into a tool place, like running into a Home Depot. Like, it was a whole warehouse of things he could do. I think in the same way, Super Mario Sunshine is he took a whole game concept, not even his concept, painting... Just swore. Excuse me. Painting things. Man, I don't do that very often on this channel. Painting things... What are we at? 5:44. Covering things in this goo, you know, like getting little things that don't look like stars from Super Mario 64. They don't look like coins so much. There are coins, but the whole game does not look and feel and play like a Mario game, while at the same time maintaining enough Mario elements that it does still feel like a Mario game. But the strangest tools, like you got that water rocket, you got the water sprayer, the flood, all of that, just like crazy game mechanics. Eating fruit, Yoshi has to eat fruit so he could spit juice. Like, the whole thing was weird. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun, which probably means whatever game it was, Super Mario Sunshine, was not really the fun game. It was the game that game was meant to be, that Mario still managed to take control of and make it work. Number 6, Super Mario Land 2. Now, in this case here, Super Mario Land 2, I'm going to get to Super Mario Land, don't worry, it's coming up here in a couple of steps, but Super Mario Land 2 was Mario's real... venture into taking the mobile landscape, the Game Boy era mobile game landscape seriously. He was doing that with Super Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins, or the 6 golden coins, or something like that. Shoot, I can't remember the exact title of it now. But anyway, Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. I remember the first time I ever played this game, and then later on I played the first Wario game, and it was a lot of fun. I think that was Super Mario Land 3, Wario's... Gosh, guys, I'm really busting my geek cred. I'm going to do an episode on geek cred just to prove how geeky I really am. But I am totally named... I should have looked up on Wikipedia, but I'm not. I just winged it. I just wrote down these games that wrote it down. I typed up these games that I want to talk about, these Mario games, and I forgot to actually look up. I think it was 6 golden coins with Super Mario Land 2, and Super Mario Land 3 was Wario's... Gosh, Wario's what? Anyway, skip all of that. We're going to skip all past all that. And then Super Mario Land 2, when I first played that, it felt like I was playing a chunky, almost Super Mario World era Mario game, but it was only like a black and white little like 8-bit. I think it's pretty sure it's 8-bit. Maybe, yeah, I think it's 8-bit. But this little like crazy little machine that could barely even push a bunch of pixels. And I was playing a game that felt like Mario, and that was beautiful. Because Super Mario Land did not feel like Mario, but Super Mario Land 2 did feel like Mario really took that mobile Game Boy market by the horns, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot about it. I really appreciate that about it. So number 5 is Super Paper Mario. Okay, so Super Paper Mario. What made this one special? It's kind of similar to what I was saying about Super Mario Sunshine being thrust into a strange world and then turning it into something that was still very Super Mario Brothers. You know what I mean? Like, there's still that element there. But ultimately, that... it's not even getting that lead in. That ultimately, sorry, I got distracted by the timer. I was like, how much time we got going? Sorry, I apologize. We'll keep going. But Super Paper Mario, that it was another example of Mario getting thrust into a world that he's not used to and trying to make the best out of the tools around him and make this world work and everything else. But between this and Super Mario RPG, it really showed that Mario could exist in more dimensions than just two-dimensional, more dimensions than just three-dimensional. They could exist on a personal dimension where you actually do, as prime examples, you actually really do get attached to these characters. You know, you get to where you get into the deep, not even necessarily the lore, because I'm sure a lot of that Super Mario RPG lore is not really taken completely seriously, but ultimately, also because it's from Enix, and Enix like is not going to hand over most of those characters that are original to that game anyway, but these RPGs like this, and Super Paper Mario in the same vein, also the other ones for like the GameCube and the Wii, and the other Paper Marios as well, but ultimately, all of them, that it really showed that Mario could exist in almost any dimension, almost any medium at all. Any way you could play a game, you could end up playing a Mario game. There'd be Mario Pool out there, Mario Solitaire, watch. Look it up. I bet it's out there. Number 4. You guys know this is my favorite Super Mario Brothers game. I can play this game anytime, day or night or day, any season, wake or sleep. I love playing this game. And actually, I can keep on going. We're going to end up finishing that game together, guys. I think we're probably on part like 30 of like 100. But we're going to beat that dang game. And I love it. You guys know why I love it. And one of the reasons why I really do love it is that in this game, and it's been shown, you guys can look it up all over the internet, but this game is for the most part played off like it's it's like a play. It's like a performance on a stage, you know? Like, there's even, like, strings holding up all the platforms that you climb on and float across on and everything. And even the opening title screen has a curtain coming up, like this is the stage play of Super Mario Brothers, you know? And it's even, like, really exaggerated and kind of strange at times. And I think a lot of that's because the whole thing's supposed to be some kind of fantastical presentation of what Mario is supposed to be, you know? So, but even knowing that, in the fact that Mario does know that the whole thing is a play, it's a sham, the whole thing is like Watchmen-style Rorschach, Deadpool kind of thing, where he knows that it's not a real, true life, like you're afraid for your life kind of situation. You're not really afraid to fall in that lava because you got extra lives. You know, you're not really too worried about getting the princess because you always get the princess. Like even in Super Mario Bros. 2, where you started with the princess and you killed Toad. Actually, that had nothing to do with the princess. But still, maybe that's the only example where you don't. But anyway, you know what I mean? Even like from the beginning when he was getting Pauline in the Donkey Kong games, it's still, it's always, he's going to get it. That's the way that he's the main character. He's the hero. So it's always going to end well for him. You know, so in a game like Super Mario Bros. 3 is that he realizes it's all a sham, and I think he still manages to go on to be the brave Mario that we know and love and trust. And I think that's really cool. I appreciate that about him. That's my favorite Mario aspect of him right now. Okay, finally, number 3, Super Mario Land. Now, this is the prime example, probably the earliest example. I couldn't look it up. I should have looked it up. I should have done my research. I didn't. You guys, if you want to comment below and call me a loser and tell me what years these games came out. But I think that Super Mario Land came out before Super Mario Bros. 2 in America, North America. And I would say that, if not, that's cool too. But for the most part, it's that this was really, I think, one of Mario's first endeavors into being not a usual Mario Brothers game. Super Mario Brothers game. Maybe, you know, Mario Brothers for the main basic platforming aspects of it. But ultimately, that as a strange kind of Super Mario Brothers game, even to the point that it wasn't even called Super Mario Brothers. It was called Super Mario Land. In a time before Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario, any of that. There was Super Mario Brothers, and there were, like, the original 2, 3, like, it was all about the brothers, and this was Super Mario Land, something kind of different. It was created and developed and designed and programmed and all that by a completely different group of people. So it wasn't even, like, Miyamoto's team doing this game. Completely different thing, and as far as I understand, and I could look it up, I should have looked it up, didn't look it up, I should have, is that these guys weren't even that familiar with Mario when they made this game. They knew the basics, you know, it's like being described what a hippo looks like and then ending up with an elephant. Like, it's close, kind of. They're gray, they're big, they're fat, they're strange, but they're not. They even have hippos kind of have, they don't have tusks, but they have the big teeth. Anyway, like little things like that it's not a direct representation of what Super Mario Brothers is supposed to be. But at the same time, I love Super Mario Land. You know, it's almost like watching the It's almost like watching the Street Fighter movie. Like, it's a terrible movie. If you're not into Street Fighter, you're like, what is going on? This whole investment isn't even worth it for an hour and a half. But if you're a Street Fighter fan, like you know I am, blurry. If you're a Street Fighter fan, like you know I am, then you know I watched that movie and I enjoyed the Street Fighter aspects of it. That's a lot like what Super Mario Land is for me, is that I play it and there are enough Mario aspects to it, and it is an official by name Mario game, but enough that I can enjoy it and invest myself into it. And that's what I'm going to say about Super Mario Land. Sorry to rant a little bit about it, but I do love that game. I'm going to play it on the channel sometime. I really will. I love that game a lot. Coming on to number 2, almost to number 1, but still number 2, Super Mario 64. All right, and this one's an easy one. As far as the game engine goes, you guys know the Super Mario 64 did what no other game had ever done before, and it did it so well that it created basically a genre. The whole concept of 3D platformers as we know it now, and really these days we don't even have 3D platformers. It's all first-person shooters and all that these days, and indie games. But even then, still, like these 3D platformers, like it was a big deal there for a long time, and especially since nobody believed that a game like Mario could exist in a 3D environment, like a perspective where you're over his shoulder and he's jumping over platforms this way. Scared people. Even the whole concept, but they still, as far as I can tell, have never really truly fully pulled off, was doing a 3D version of a Street Fighter style game. Like, it's just the whole concept of jumping into somebody and kicking them and doing that in this kind of an angle. Like, it feels strange. It doesn't quite work, you know, and they still haven't cracked that nut yet. But Super Mario 64 managed to crack that nut as far as the platformers went. Like, it changed it. And sometimes they did even kind of lock the camera, so you had to hold it a certain way. But for the most part, they let you not only play in this 3D environment where all the controls still felt very platformy, but also it made it to where you can move the camera while doing so. So it didn't even lock you in like, you can play in a perfect 3D platforming environment, but you got to stay in this exact camera angle. Like, they don't do that. They skip all that and say, spin around, look what you want to do, and look how well we made this game. And that's what I really love about it, is that Mario jumps into that, and he translates as such a strong character that he's not locked into that 2D environment going from left to right, but instead he can exist as I've said many times now, in so many mediums and environments, and still thrive and still blossom as the Mario that we know and love. All right, starting with number one. Ending with number one. Super Mario Brothers 2. This game is special to me, and I do love this game. It's not my favorite. It's in the top 3, I would say. Like, it's up there. It's one of my very favorites of all time, but it is not directly my favorite. And a lot of that's because it wasn't never meant to be a Mario game. Arguably, some of these other games could be argued that they're not really a Mario game, but this one specifically, it was created as a different game based on a game show out of Japan. And in the end, they converted the graphics and some of the gameplay elements into a game that was Super Mario Bros. 2. And the Mario in this game, though, he is my number one pick. And I'll tell you why. This game takes place within a dream world, and that's established in the game itself. This is not real. This is a game world, dream world, and everything that's happening is all part of a dream. And what gets me is that Mario does two things. One, he fights as hard as any other Mario in order to beat the bad guy and save this world. The whole world of strangers. Like, he doesn't know these fairy people. He's not into the whole, that whole thing there, but he jumps into it, even in a dream where he's not even really being himself. And even there where he could just float away and be Peter Pan. Instead, he's still the strongest, best Mario he can be. And he destroys Toad? Not Toad. His name is Wart. He destroys Toad, but he destroys Wart. And like brings the whole kingdom back and saves the whole day. And he wakes up for a second, opens his eye, looks around, and goes back to sleep because he's like, that was a really great dream. Like, he loved that. And just the fact that even in his dreams, he fights like he does. And, the second thing I was going to say is that he also brings on his friends for the first time in the entire Mario series. He's never had a game where you could play as Toad. Toad didn't even hardly exist. He existed as like an afterthought. Like whoever you'd see at the end of a castle that it wasn't the princess's castle is when you'd see Toad. But now, in this game here, you could play as Toad. He had his own characteristics. It was not even like an RPG, but it did have that kind of quality to it, that you had these characters that were so different that you could have strategy. You could say, I beat this game because I use this character. Like all of that is that, in my opinion, this Mario is the best Mario of all the Marios. And any Mario game on this list, it's only 10 games, there's more games than this for Marios, but these are the ones I'm most familiar with. These are the ones I know the best. These are the ones that I could best define exactly how I know and love the Marios in these games, because these are all games that I played a lot. And I should play some more of these games on the channel. We should have like a Mario month or something like that, right? March? Mario March? That'd be kind of cool. I'd be into it. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think about that. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you got this far into it. If you did, let's do a really good keyword. Let's do hashtag. Yeah, not double pound sign, but pound sign HASHTAG. Like hashtag. Let's see if you guys can pull that one off. You guys are awesome. I really, truly appreciate it. I love your guys' support. There we go. I love your guys' support. I care about y'all. Every single one of you guys. I so much appreciate, and I don't know, I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to keep it going as long as I can. Sorry I'm a day late this week, you guys. I'm going to try to push it to be sticking to a regular schedule. I want to get that A grade on Social Blade, and I bet I'll be on a good path to getting... Finally, let's start with, 2019. Let's hope that at the end of the year we got 500 subscribers. That'd be pretty cool, right? Let's shoot for that. What do you think? I'm shooting for it myself. Good talking should be Tuesday episode, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Sorry, broke the fourth wall there. It's Wednesday today, but tomorrow's Thursday. So in true news, when I air that episode, okay, I'm gonna have to think of a game I'm gonna play. I think I might finally play The Messenger. I'm really excited about that. Let me know what you guys think. Talk to you soon. See you soon. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and thanks for having me, and as always, OMJamers! Make somebody smile today, guys! Yeah, that's right. Glad to have you guys here, glad to be here, glad to record, that was a fun episode. That was good, I like that. I'll do that again.